Jay Beatty, Sacred Minds. Who's he?
Well, the federal budget was handed out last night, and Jim Chalmers has basically sent a whole heap of money offshore. I'm sure that wasn't his intent, but the reality is when you shut out investors and you say, well, basically you can't put your money here because we'll tax it too much, you're sending all your money offshore. It doesn't help first homeowners. The house prices are still going to be what they are because there are so many buyers, a limited amount of stock, and so the cost of buying a house, whether you build one that's off a plan or you buy one that's already set in place, it's too high because there are so many that are basically wanting to buy in a very tight market. But Jim Chalmers, they basically said, look, we're not going to touch the capital gains tax. This is Albo anyway. Jim Chalmers as well won't touch capital gain tax, won't touch negative gearing, and now not only have they taxed those out of any level of common sense, but they're also having a go at trusts now as well. Take a look at this. I love this stuff and the dancing that goes on with trying to justify your position. Here he was this morning on Sky.
Promises in its fifth budget. It includes the largest housing tax changes this century, billions of dollars in new spending, and a warning that Australians will experience worsening price pressures.
Absolutely.
Joining us live this morning is the Federal Treasurer, Jim Chalmers. Treasurer, thanks for your time. Now that the lie has been confirmed, will you apologise to the Australian public?
Not a chance. I'll just put a different spin on it.
Good morning, Pete. Well, I'm fronting up to explain to the Australian public why we've come to a different view on some of these contentious policy areas. And the reason we have is because it's becoming increasingly clear and increasingly unacceptable to see so many young Australians and Australians more broadly locked out of the dream of owning their first home. And so that's why we've made these changes. We understand that people who would rather the existing arrangements stay in place, the defenders of the status quo, would rather focus on the politics of that rather than the substantive issue. But the substantive issue is the intersection of the housing market and the tax system has locked too many Australians out of the housing market for too long.
No. What has locked people out of the housing market is the cost of houses. That's it. It's not the amount of tax that you pay or you don't pay. The cost of the things is too high. So if you got in before COVID, great, but after COVID, they just went ballistic. Simply because you imported a whole heap of people that basically had a whole lot of money into Australia, and they're allowed to buy houses. And so our 25 to 35s can't buy them because they've been priced out of the market. It's as simple as that.
And so we're taking these difficult decisions to address that.
But no apology to those who listened to you say multiple times that CGT and negative gearing wouldn't be touched.
No apology. I'm not going to give that, that's for sure. Not a chance.
Well, the position that we expressed at the election reflected our policy at the time, which is overwhelmingly about supply and 5% deposits. I'm being upfront with you and with all of your viewers, Pete, when I say...
Mate, you're not being upfront. You basically lied. So the 5% deposit, and this is a thing that's a kicker as well. You've basically increased the cost of houses by 5%. So they kick in 5%, and what does everybody else do that's selling a house? They increase their prices by 5%. Because you've just basically got an extra 5% of money that's pushed into the market. This is like printing money. That's all it is. You've just increased the cost. You've inflated the cost of the house. The common sense of this government is unbelievable. They just simply don't have it. Anyway, let's keep going.
We have changed our view. Not on supply, we're doing more on supply in the budget. That is still the main game. It's still where this problem begins. But it doesn't end there. There's also a very substantial challenge when it comes to how difficult it is for Australia.
This is the thing. Supply Like they wanted to build 1 million homes. There's no way that you've got to be able to pay the contractors to be able to do that. And with the wages going up, all the rest of it, and just getting builders to do it, the supply just isn't happening. And so, and the amount of time that it takes to build a home as well, you're not addressing the immediate concerns, which is the cost of the house. Basically, cost of housing is still high, so young people just haven't got the ability to save, and giving them 5%. Well, as I said, you've just pushed the cost of a house 5% more into the market, which is crazy.
To get their first toehold in the housing market. I understand that these changes are contentious. I understand that
lying is contentious. Yes,
things exactly as
indeed
they
it
are.
is.
People who think the housing market and the tax system is working just fine, but we don't think that it is, and that's because too many Australians, and particularly young
Australians, changing the goalposts as well, mate.
Out of that aspiration, that dream of owning their first home.
Right, but on the question of supply, your changes will mean less homes built and higher rents. So doesn't that run counter to your own housing plans and targets?
Yeah, it does actually.
Look at the whole housing package in the budget, Pete, and the housing package in its entirety means about 30,000 extra homes in our economy, and that's because the tax changes are not all that we are doing for housing. We've got
You're barely scratching the surface, mate.
There to bring another 65,000 homes online, and
this
so
is
the
crazy.
net effect of our
This is like Albo saying, "I've got 100, million litres of fuel." You've got a day's supply, mate. This guy's saying that, we've got 30,000 homes or we've got 65,000 homes. You're not scratching the surface. You've brought in hundreds of thousands of people from other places. You've basically said, look, their visas we're going to extend them, and we're going to put them into PR, permanent residency, or citizenship, and so all of that puts pressure on the current situation where young people just can't get out. So your 30,000 or your 65,000 extra houses are just not going to cut it.
Housing policy is to build more homes at the same time as we deal with some of these tax concessions which are skewing the market.
Now that you've gone after investors, will a hit on the family home be next?
Yes. Oh, mate. He's going to lie on this.
No, Pete, and I wouldn't characterise what we did last night the way that you just have either, or in your introduction.
What, you mean lie? You did lie, old mate. You said that there wasn't going to be any capital gains tax or effect on negative gearing. You said it time and time and time again, and so you lied. So will they come after the family home? Folks, I'm not a prophet, but I guarantee you they will come after your home, and death duties as well. Why? Because they're broke. They have spent, we're $1 trillion in the can. That's $25 billion each year that we have to pay back just in interest. So they've got to find money, and the only place you get money is people with money. Well, who's the people with money? It's older Gen Xers and baby boomers. So what are they going to do now? Well, they're going to sink all their money. If they haven't paid off their house, they're going to pay it off now, put it in there, and then so where are all the assets? Where's all the money? Family home. So they will definitely come after the family home. And when you die and the grieving family say, well, we've got to pay off our own homes now, we're not going to move into mum and dad's home, so we're going to sell it, they will hit you with death duties. Absolutely, they will hit you.
Be clear. The budget last night recognises and respects decisions that people have taken when it comes to their investment portfolios. This is not about fewer people doing well. It's about more people doing well.
Capital gains
when it comes to
on
buying their first home.
shares.
In your introduction, you didn't mention that the budget actually saves more than it spends. It's got a big net improvement in the budget.
No.
The deficits.
Let's talk about that. So he talks about saving more than spending. That is simply not true. The NDIS is a freight train that's run out of control. It's going downhill. The only way to really solve that thing. So he's basically pulling up. So he says we're spending less than what money's coming in with regard to tax. Simply not true. The NDIS is a hideous thing that's run out of control. So they're trying to tighten up some of the fraudulent activity that's gone on there. That is not saving. That's just plugging up holes. So to say what he said there, that, we're saving money, no, not true. You're better off. That NDIS basically needs to be turfed. The whole thing needs to be canned and handed over, I think, to the state governments, and let them manage it, because the federal government, with handing it out to private contractors, has just been a system it's been rorted. And so you've got, as we've said before, criminal crime bosses basically getting into it, and it's state-sponsored crime, basically.
Smaller every year of the forward estimates. We've got the debt down compared to...
You have not got the debt down, mate.
That's because it's a very responsible budget. It's a responsible
how does he sit there with a straight face?
I'll get more on that in a moment, Treasurer, but no hit on the family homes coming next. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there definitely will be a hit on the family home.
No, we're not changing the arrangements when it comes to the family
Not yet,
home.
anyway.
We're not changing arrangements when it comes to things.
But we've basically lied to you, so at the end of the day, we will come after them, even though we say we won't.
Like inheritances, all of those sorts of things that people push around on social media and the like, we've made very clear. The policy changes that we made last night are overwhelmingly about this challenge that we have in the housing market.
They're dodgy.
Too many people, particularly.
Listen, what's happened? What this Treasurer did last night is basically cut any desire for investment. And so whether if you're, just say you're a young person, you're in your early 20s and you've got a job, you're in a PAYE, you're working for an employer, but you've got an idea, or you've got a business idea that you want to explore, and so you go for it and you want to invest money into that. You can't afford a house because they're too expensive, but you think, I might make some money out of my side hustle. So you get in and you make an investment, and you've come up with something. Maybe it's an app, or maybe it's a business where you've got something that you're doing online, you're selling product or whatever. Guess what the government are doing now? So if there's a gain on that, then you pay capital gains on that. So you'll basically hit just as much as you are with your PAYE tax, which is 30% or whatever. You'll get hit that with any capital gains that you make on your side hustle. So it's virtually not a winning scenario. So they've basically taken out the desire, the incentive for young entrepreneurs. They're already hitting the older guys, those that have made money with shares and things like that, capital gains. If you're older and you've got a bit of money, maybe you've retired, and you've got some super money. Well, from now on, if you invest that, that's going to be hit at capital gains. You're gonna double basically your capital gains tax. So this really is a knocking out of incentive. And I just wanted to, I don't think we need to listen anymore to him. So let's just go to this. So this is the parable of the talents, and I really wanted to just talk about this. So these are the words of Jesus. Okay, Matthew 25. And from verse 14. So this parable is about those that will receive will get more. So this is about spiritual blessings, okay? But he's using basically something that is earthly. It's well understood. So a talent is just like let's call it a bag of money. All right. So some have more bags of money than others. It will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, to another 1 talent, to each according to his ability. And then he went away. So this guy had a lot of ability, lesser ability, but they all had some abilities. So he's gone away on his journey. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. Fantastic. He also, who had 2 talents, made 2 talents more. But he who had received 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Oh, that's not very smart. Why did he do that? Now, after a long time, the master of the servants came and settled accounts with them, right? And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more. So his master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also had 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered me 2 talents. Here, I've made 2 talents more. His master said, Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Okay, so the point is there that they've been given some money, here as talents, which is a lot of money. Okay, 5, he's made 5 more. Somebody who was given 2 made 2 talents more, and so they get a benefit from that. He says, "Come in and enter into. You've made this. I will set you over much. You've had little. I will set you over much." So the investor gets some fruit, some benefit of the investment. That's the point. So I want to just bring this back to the person that didn't make any money at all. He who also had received 1 talent came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master answered, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him, give it to the one who has 10 talents, so he gets even more, the 10-talent guy. For everyone who has more will be given, and he who has an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Cast that worthless servant into outer darkness and place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And obviously that's referring to eternal punishment and judgment. With our government, with what they've done, so with this parable that Jesus is talking about, he's basically forcing them to be the wicked servant. So you or any benefit is taken. I knew you were an austere government. I knew you take away and you reap where you're the one who reaps, you take. So basically, I'm not gonna do anything with the talent. I'm not gonna do anything with my money. I'll put it where it's safe. Basically, I'll put it in the ground or in the family home, where I live. You're basically forcing people, this is the Australian government, you're basically forcing people to be that wicked servant and just do nothing with their money because there's no advantage, there's no incentive to invest. And that is a disgrace. What else is it? You can't really do too much more than that, can you? But they're coming after your family home. Don't worry. They've lied about this other stuff with, capital gains tax and trusts and negative gearing. They'll be after your home, and they'll certainly be after death duties. It's cruel. The only way out is really to vote them out.
That's something to think about.